Alright everybody, welcome to the channel. So this time around, I'm not going to get too deep into his stats before we go into the deep dive. I want to get straight to his animations. But there's one thing I'm going to briefly mention, which I think should influence your overall decision to pick up the character. And that's that in addition to all of the things he's great at, which is basically everything. He's an elite rebounder, elite dunker, right? Elite dribbler, elite shooter. He's Galaxy Opal, so he's basically perfect. He's got a 78 steal, which is like one of the few things he's not perfect at. 72 shot contest is fine. Speed's 98, which is crazy on a 6'10 character with a really big body model. So all that's all well and good, but the one thing about him that I think separates him from a lot of the other power forwards in the game is that 98 strength. I think with that 98 strength, and if we go to his defensive badges, he's got, the Hall of Fame brick wall, which is actually great. He's going to be fantastic in a screen and roll. So not only can he bring the ball up, but he can really help relieve pressure bringing the ball up if somebody's pressing you with that brick wall and a big body type that's going to really, make it hard to get around him. So, and then he also has moving truck and post move lockdown and rim protector and, intimidator and all of that stuff, either gold or Hall of Fame. So I think this card, except for like deep hooks, should be able to hold his ground against anybody, in particular that Galaxy Opal Shaquille O'Neal with the glitch Shaquille O'Neal with the crazy juice stats, because that card at power forward takes a lot of power forwards out of the game. He's a gross mismatch against a lot of power forwards, and I don't think that would be the case with Blake. And shout out to 2K, he has the leg sleeve from when he doesn't get enough credit for playing in the playoffs with that bum leg and actually doing a really good job. All right, so anyways, let's go straight to his. Actually, we're gonna go to his shots first before we do anything else. So he has a really nice shot, big old green window, and he shoots really well off of the peekaboo, which is insane. Let's check his shot off of the hezzy jumper, which is also really, really gross and fantastic. And then that's his moving shot, right? So he's looking great on all fronts there. And real quick, I'm just going to put this up in 2K Gamer so those guys can see this as well. And then we will be good to go. As soon as it starts to work. Bam! Okay, we're in there. So the shooting is excellent. Absolutely excellent as a shooter. Like, he couldn't be better, right? As far as I'm concerned, he shoots fast, he shoots well, he shoots in every way that you could possibly want him to shoot. And we'll get to more of his shots later, but we're going to move on to the dribbling and the post-up stuff. How much? I paid, I think, $370 for Blake, which I think is a pretty fair price, actually. All right, so that's his moving behind the back and his running between the legs. Both of those are very, very good. In fact, before we go to any more full court combos, let's just look at those in a half court combo. So that's his half spin between the legs, which is outrageous for a 6'10 power forward. That's just really, really strong. We'll look at the half spin behind the back. Not as strong on the half spin behind the back, but let's look at the momentum into the running behind the back. So momentum move forward, running behind the back. So that's more of a change course move. I liken it to Dwayne Wade's between the legs, right? Where if you're running down court, you throw it out behind your back, you move to the side, gets you off course for a wide open shot when people go to protect the basket. Whereas the behind the back, the between the legs is the one you want to use if you're advancing towards the goal and looking for the dunk. So yeah, super strong. No complaints there. All right, let's look at his hezzy, his crossover and all that stuff. So this is running crossover. Really good running crossover. There's a little bit of a hesitation before it. And let's see if he has a good crossover behind the back. Very nice crossover behind the back, guys. That's really, really good. That's really good. So you can be running down court, speed boost, crossover behind the back. And yeah, he's very, very strong, I have to say. Very good dribbler. We'll look at his hezzy branches, then we'll go to the half court stuff. So that's his hezzy explosion, which is actually really good, and his hezzy crossover is so good it's almost like silly, to be honest with you. Yeah, in terms of bringing the ball up and dribbling, he's very much like a 6'10 Galaxy Opal Shaq, in my opinion. He's just like, the difference being is Blake Griffin actually plays like this in real life, right? Like, if you watch the best Blake Griffin games, he brings the ball up the floor, he triple doubles in the playoffs. So Blake is one of those people that should be broken in my team, because it's very hard to accurately represent him in the game and juice him the way you juice other cards without making him super OP, because he does have a well-rounded skill set. He's super athletic, and now he can shoot. All right, he's actually a very good shooter now. So yeah, so that's going to take care of all of Blake's full court stuff. That was his running hezzy right stick crossover, which is very good for him, which is actually pretty rare. Usually that's a bad animation. But with Blake, it's a very good animation. So Blake has a lot of options. And you see there the moving three-pointer. Because his moving shot goes straight up, honestly, guys, I think this is a character you don't even have to peekaboo with as often when you're like coming off the court and coming off the dribble, because his moving shot is so straight up and down. So in a way, he's almost superior to peekaboo-based characters because he doesn't have to stop because of the motion of his pull-up. It just puts him straight up into his normal shooting motion. So you have to do is learn the timing of that, and he's such a good shooter, I don't think there's going to be a big penalty. I hit a lot of greens doing that, and I just started playing with the card. So that's something worth note. All right, let's look at his half-court dribbles. So first, we're going to look at his step back. Outstanding, creates a lot of space. Let's look at it off the combo. Beautiful. Beautiful. I would say he has a second-tier step back, but which is still high-tier. You know, it's like at the bottom of the high-tier step backs, but it's very good. And we're going to check out that step back, see if it combos off of dribble moves. Very, very excellent combo off of dribble moves as well. So that step back is going to be useful in all of the ways that a step back can be useful. We're going to check one more combo, snatch back into step back. Oh yeah, that's nice. So he has a double hop, snatch back into step back, which on a character that's this big and this good of a slasher, who, even though a lot of the centers get juiced defense, they don't get the kind of defense that allows you to defend a card this fast. You know what I mean? So while the best defensive cards should be able to guard him to the best of their abilities, he's really on the perimeter. You almost need a perimeter guard to defend him on the perimeter and a post-up card to guard him in the interior. So this card is definitely a monster. He's good. He's more outright mobile than Shaq. Like, Shaq is obviously very silly and broken, but Blake moves like a guard. You know what I'm saying? Blake moves in a very, very, like, he feels extremely fast. It feels almost like you're using a 6'10" Dwayne Wade. So this guy is outstanding, and it's no surprise that guys like Splash Edition have him starting. I think Splash has him as center right now, which I do think from a defensive standpoint, unless you have a Kareem or a Bull, not Manu, a Taco Fall shooting hook shots over him, his height might not be an issue in a lot of scenarios just because of how strong he is, the vertical, the badges, and all of that stuff. You guys have to play games yourself to determine where you're going to play him, obviously. But just letting you know that on paper, he defends better than most cards his size are going to defend, and rebounds better than most cards are going to rebound. The only negative being he doesn't have the longest arms in the world. Some people are talking about T-Rex arms. I don't know. I think that's going a little far. He doesn't have like the shortest like T-Rex arms in the world. I think it's the fact that his arms are thick at the top and thin at the bottom that makes his arms look shorter than they are. Just to get a quick look at his wingspan here. They're like normal. They're not. I mean, he's no Dino Raja, but they're fine. You know, it's not an alarming negative to the card, I would say. And I played with him a little bit. I haven't seen any evidence that it hurts him during the game. Pedro says his step back doesn't look so good, but it's better than the one of the same Kobe size. Keep in mind, this is on a 6'10" though. You know, like, it's one thing well, first of all, it is a good step back because I said it's a second tier step back, right? It's not an elite step back. So we're probably agreed on that. But what I'm saying is, like, the good thing about this step back is it combos smoothly out of every move you're going to do, right? Like, it combos very well out of his snatch. It combos very well out of the stop. It combos very well out of any momentum dribbles and stuff like that. And it also creates a bit of space. It doesn't create as much space as the best version of that dribble, and it's not as good as the Curry one. But it's close though. It's not terrible. It's definitely not terrible. That's why I said it's second tier. And keep in mind, it's on a 6'10". It's on a 6'10" card who's probably a top 5 dunker in the entire game. So, and he's going to be defended by centers. So the fact that the centers are going to want to hang in the paint on you, that I think on this card makes the step back very strong. All right, so now we're going to go to the hezzy, and here's the good news. This guy has the Pro 1 or Pro 3 hezzy for some reason. I don't know why they gave him this, but this is going to pretty much make this card impossible to defend. The fact that he can shoot on the move without having to do the peekaboo if he doesn't want to, the fact that he can snatch back into his step back, and the fact that he can zigzag is just really crazy. So the one negative to this card, because I don't think his height or and he has the Steph Curry between the legs. He can stop on a dime, that kind of thing. Like, this card is really, really silly. This card is really strong. So the one negative to this card would be he doesn't have handles for days. So you have to make one move and get it going. Otherwise, he will start to get into fatigue. Which is good, because if this guy could be dribbling all over the place, he would be, I mean, he would just be the worst. You know what I mean? It would be just impossible to deal with him. So we see there, even though he doesn't have the guard version of the behind the back, he does combo out of it very quickly, which is also, you know, very good for Blake. Let's see here. So Blake can misdirect very easily. Obviously got an insane dunk package. We'll look at his dunk packages in a second. This is what his momentum looks like. You know, it's pretty solid. Nothing to write home about. But again, it's on a 610, so, you know, on a card that's like this big and mobile, it's like crazy that he even can do it at all. Let's see, his size up package. So this is his size up animation. It's standard. Nothing to write home about. Definitely usable, especially if someone backs off of you for a cheap speed boost, low stamina cost speed boost. That's the nice thing about that, is if people are backed off of you, you can get that low stamina cost speed boost, go between the legs and dunk on them right away. This card can, you know, this card can really, he can really knock it out, man. It's just really, really strong card. Let's see here. What else have we got? His spin move is actually also very good. I mean, he's like a top tier dribbler. It's crazy. The only thing I would say is because he doesn't have handles for days, you have to get good at the dribbles that are going to allow you to move in a straight line and get your goals accomplished. He's not going to be here just doing this kind of thing all day. You don't want to be dancing too much with him. You want to get the job done. You know, get going, hit him with it between the legs or a hezzy, and just bang on them and call it a day. And then once they're afraid of that, you can start, you know, that's when you can start doing your snatchbacks and either pull up, or you can snatch back into the step back, which is what I prefer most of the time, because it allows me to do other things, you know, whereas the snatchback is kind of a slow animation, but the fact that it forces your opponent into another read, that's really good. All right, so what other dribbles do we have to look at? I think that's going to pretty much cut it. I've shown the hezzy, I've shown the step back, shown the quick stop and go on the perimeter, which is gross that he even has that. We looked at the momentum, we looked at the behind the back. We looked at, I gave a quick look at his in and out, right? Here's his in and out. Also excellent. His character actually looks like he's moving to the side and everything. Like, this card is just so good. I do not regret spending this $360 or whatever I spent on him. No regrets at all whatsoever. He's really fantastic. I'm gonna put a shoe on him. I mean, I put a contract on him. I don't even know what shoe he would need. Maybe lateral quickness. But yeah, I'll put a diamond contract on him. No problem, and I'll be happy to play this card for the rest of the year because he's really, really fun. All right, so let's look at the layup package real quick, and then we'll look at the dunks, and we'll get you guys out of here. So his layup package, very solid. Again, not that anybody's going to be trying to do layups with this card, but sometimes you get forced into a layup because the card is either fatigued, or, you know, somebody bumps you, or 2K just decides you're not getting a dunk right now. And so I'll show you what the layups look like anyway. That one is not my favorite layup animation, but overall he has a solid layup package. Show the Euro step real quick. Yep, there's that. All right, and now let's go to the dunks. So the first dunk we're going to look for actually is we're going to look for the baseline dunk. And he does have baseline dunks. The most important dunk package in the game is to have those baseline dunks, because those are cheesy and pretty much impossible to block. All right, so we'll look at left hand, see if it's ambidextrous dunker. So while that was a gather, it was a fast, powerful, safe gather. That was forward on the stick, and then, oh, he didn't dunk. That was strange. Let's try that again. I went to the left hand on that one. Okay, there we go. So on the left hand dunks, pointing the left stick towards the ball hand, he has no gather. Actually, a minor gather on his right hand, which was odd. Let's try forward going to the right hand. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. So that was forward on a stick. So be careful with that, because sometimes he's one of those fancy dunkers that when you go for a regular dunk, he might give you a flashy. Because that was forward on the stick when he did that double pump. So that's just part of his regular dunk package. Wow. Yeah, that's insane. That's great. All right, and we'll look at flashy with the right hand. Okay, so that's definitely a contact dunk situation. If somebody's in front of you and you bust a flashy on him, he's going for murder. He's trying to catch a body. Yeah, I mean, guys, I can't say enough good things about this card. He's just really outstanding. This is a switch hand dunk. That's where he has a gather on that one, but it's not a bad gather. I imagine because this card is such a powerful dunker that the gathers matter less than they do on guards. And there was no gather switching from the strong hand to the weak hand. So that's going to the basket, pushing the stick to the left. There was no gather there. All right, and so last thing we gotta look at is his post-up animations and triple threat. Okay, I don't like his post-fade actually. His post-fade keeps him in the same spot over there. Yeah, I actually don't like his post-fades. So let's check out his post-hops. Yeah, I would almost say you could substitute his post-hops for his post-fades for his post-hops. His post-hops don't carry him very far, which is a good thing because if you're a post-fade person, just use his post-hops, and that'll be almost as if he had a really good post-fade. And you can just use the post-fade on mismatched like shorter characters in triple threat or something like that. I don't imagine he'll face many height mismatches in MTU, but if he does, there you go, right? Yeah, lovely. Okay. So let's see his post spin, see the speed of that. Well, post launch and post spin. So that's launched towards the paint. We're going to check towards the baseline. It's fast, but it's not as fast as you would expect out of Blake, who I think the spin move was like the only spin, the post spin was the only move he had when he first came into the league, going into the post. If this guy was healthy, man, I mean, he has a pretty solid career, but if he stayed healthy, Blake really turned into something special in terms of like learning how to shoot and everything. He just never put together that run, which is too bad. I hope he can still have a little mini veteran comeback. But all right, so let's check him out off the triple threat, and then we're gonna call it a day. All right, so that's opposite side, not the fastest, not the fastest. Get rid of this. Same side is extremely fast, like a lot of these cards are. I don't know what's making them that fast, but early in the year, cards weren't quite as fast going to the same side. Off the spin, he's okay. Ooh, and I forgot to check out his hop dumps. His hop dunks. We're gonna his hop dumps. His hop dump. Let's see what those look like. All right, that was my fault. I did it from very far away. I always test it from far away just to see, because some cards are really, there we go. That's why I test it from really far away, because some cards will give you hop dunks from really, really silly ranges, and when they're broken like that, when they have a little bit of Giannis in them, I like to be able to show you guys. All right, so tapping the square button, he's doing the hop layups a lot. So maybe if you're going in for a hop dunk, you want to use the right stick. It might be a little more reliable for Blake. Woof. Yeah, so I mean this card is a monster. He's a monster. And I think he definitely solves the problem of, well, he solves the problem in my lineup because I didn't have a backup power forward to Bol. I might pull Blake off the bench and start Raja and Bol, and then off the bench, I might wind up running something like Kareem or Blake. Not that I think those guys are worse, it's just a switch up. The other ones could start too. But I think Kareem and Shaq are like the best duo right now at power forward and center, or at least one of the best. And now with Blake here, I think that group is a little bigger. So Kareem, Wilt, Shaq, Blake, Bol, those cards now are kind of in that top tier front court company. I'm not sure who else I would put in that category. I do rate Kristaps Porzingis a little bit lower personally. I just don't think he moves as well as Bol, and he doesn't do anything better than Bol to make up for it. So I put him like a slightly lower tier. Wilt is just shorter than Kareem and can speed boost. I guess theoretically you can count Cat, but almost nobody locked in for Cat. So yeah, and I think at this point it's definitely not worth locking in for Cat. There's no way you would definitely want that MT to buy Blake rather than lock in for Cat, obviously. So yeah, so that's gonna cut it for the Blake thing. If you guys want to see the stats and the badges, I'm not going to be focusing on that as much in these videos unless there's something significant to mention, positive or negative. Long story short, Blake is excellent at everything, and the one thing he's missing He doesn't have the highest steal rating in the world, and he doesn't have the longest wingspan. So he might not be the best card to be in passing lanes. I mean, he's still going to do the job. Any card can get passing lane steals, but he's not going to be the best at it. And then the other thing is he doesn't have tight handles, so as great as his dribbles are, you do have to be economic and efficient with your dribbles. You can't just boogie on people all day. You gotta, so you almost have to be better at the dribbling with Blake, because you got to be able to make your moves effective. You don't get 2, 3, 4, 5 chances. You will fatigue your Blake very quickly if you care about stamina at all. For some people, think stamina is a complete placebo, and some of the gameplays I've seen, I lean in that direction. People are saying Taco Fall is really good. How do you feel about Taco? Yeah, I think Taco is good. I don't think Taco is as good as those other guys, but I think he's really good. I think Taco's good. He's a different style. He's a giant. But yeah, he's Taco's great. I think that the one concern I have with Taco is just the speed. Any center that can't keep up, it would worry me a little bit. But yeah, I think Taco's pretty cool. The main thing about it is these other centers. Okay, so the thing about career, I'll talk about this my center tier list for a quick second, since I drop who I think is the best and all that stuff. I think the most important thing a center can do is be fast and be in the passing lanes, right? And pressure the ball up the court. When they can do that, and they can defend, and they can hit an open jump shot, that to me is the elite center skill set. Everything else is a bonus. So like post hook cheese is a bonus. Range extender is a bonus. Being a point center like Blake or Dino is a bonus. It's a nice thing to have. But the thing that I think at high level competition that's most important that other characters can't is if the center is fast, they can be in the passing lanes, and they can defend very well on the other end and rebound, and they can hit open shots. And for me, Wilt and Kareem are like the very best at that, and like it fit that description the best. Yeah, Anthony Davis is another one. Again, most people don't have. I don't mention Galaxy Opal AD because most people haven't collected that many cards, but obviously AD would be in this conversation as well. I don't know. I'll probably rate Kevin Garnett a little behind. I don't think Kevin Garnett is quite up there, but I would have to look at more Kevin Garnett gameplay. He's another one. Most people didn't lock in for that card, and would rather have the MT than that card. I guess that's what it is. It's like Kevin Garnett costs you so much. He costs you the ability to buy like some of these other cards, right? Like you can buy Kareem and Blake for what you locked in for Kevin Garnett. So I think that's what kind of makes him worse, because he's not. You wouldn't rather have him over those two, right? Obviously. So there's that. But yeah. No, I think Dino is an elite center. I don't think he's elite for a budget center. I think he's just an elite center, like period. And he just happened to be cheap. If the community knew what they were doing, he would have never been that cheap. Dino should have never been below 100K. That was insane. If his name was something else, like if that was a Giannis card or something, maybe he would have never, like literally if his name was just Giannis Antetokounmpo and they reskinned him and everything else about him was the same, and he just ran the center with those attributes and those badges, he would have never been up below 100K in the first place. So yeah. Dino's ridiculous. So all right, so that's gonna wrap it up for my Blake deep dive. I hope that you guys enjoyed that and a little bit of how he fits into the meta as well at the end of it. And yeah, that's good. That's gonna wrap it up. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and share this if this helped you. If you think it help somebody else, and do. I don't like to recommend cards. Everybody has a different style and all of that stuff. But if I was in the business of recommending cards, Blake would definitely be on the list, because I spent 300 over 350 on this card, and I'm not reselling him to get that MT. I'll get that MT back another way. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and peace.